Hello, my friend. It is Julie. I am here with you, host of this beautiful show, if I may say so myself. I love getting to be on your journey of becoming and being and loving your Youest You. Today, you're in for a treat. I'm so excited. I have three of my fantastic life designer coaches. They are women that have all had other very powerful careers. We just finished our conversation and it was incredible. You're going to be so touched, moved, inspired. And I think really get a sense that anything is possible. It is never too late. And to learn some of the most powerful aspects, the the things about coaching that you may not realize that can really be a game changer for you and for those that you would serve. And whether you choose to add to the coaching that you already, maybe you are a coach and you want to refine your skills or you want to think about becoming one, or you're just interested to learn more of the tools to become your Youest You, I know this conversation is going to help you. So let me share with you who you are about to hear and to learn from. We have Kathy O'Neill. Kathy is a life designer coach. She works with women in transition and up to big life changes. She is shamelessly in her mid 60s and is a total badass. She has a master's degree in public health from Yale University. Her first career focused on administration of public and private healthcare systems. Her second and longest career was started in Manhattan, where she began producing TV commercials, web video content, documentaries. She is a producer. And this third career is really all about becoming a transition coach, where she is helping others to really learn what is next for them, to step into their highest self, to get the story, the next chapter they want to create. So that is Kathy. We're also joined by Dr. Priti Chandran. Dr. Priti is a former dentist turned into a coach. She works with stressed and overwhelmed women, especially, as well as their teams, to bring more calm and ease into all environments. And she infuses mental fitness and coaching and other tools all around helping others to really to tap into their greatest gifts and strengths. Dr. Priti is a South Asian American. She is no stranger to sacrifice and persistence and works a lot with those who come from from backgrounds that are from other cultures and other countries. And she is really working right now to help women especially to thrive and to she's a genius at creating safe spaces for individuals to grow and to learn and transform. And then we are also joined by Chrissy Freeman. Love Chrissy. Chrissy is also a certified life designer coach, as is Priti, as is Kathy. And Chrissy really focuses on helping and empowering women to say yes to themselves and get back in the driver's seat after divorce. She's also been in the corporate world and has worked there for over 30 years. She really wanted to get back into this. She wanted to get into this work because after going through her own divorce, her own journey of finding self-love, she wanted to help women rediscover their truth and their passion. And she now coaches women in groups and individually in their own transformational journey, going from being a Mrs. to really discovering the me within you, that your higher self, your Youest You, and to create a life that they deserve. So I am telling you, my friend, this is such a rich conversation. I'm so excited. There will be four of us chatting and hanging, and there's just so much wisdom in this one. As always, take what you like, leave the rest. I hope that this helps you to really see and learn ways that you can tap into your purpose, your why, your greatest gifts and strengths. And as always, cheering you on. This episode has been sponsored by the Life Designer Coach Academy. This is a world-class life coach certification program for anyone who would like to become a masterful holistic life coach. Just go to juliereisler.com/certification for more information. Hello, Youest You family. Oh my gosh, my dear friend, soul friend, listener. I'm so excited to be here with you today. As you've heard, we are joined by some of my favorite women coaches. This is a lovely, lovely opportunity. We're going to have conversation with four of us. So this is going to be so fun. I am so excited to have each of you here. Pretty, Chrissy, Kathy. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me in this conversation to talk about both life coaching and what that means and why you've gotten into it. And then just like, we love to get together and just get soul to soul. So thank you, each of you, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Julie.
Yeah, great to be here.
Awesome. All right. Well, so I just want to start in because what I think is so amazing, each of you literally comes in with a wealth of information and background in various areas. Kathy, I know you've been in as a producer in production, and Chrissy, you've been in the corporate world, and Pretty as a dentist and doctor and like getting into the health realm and so much more. So, like, I would just love to hear from each of you because one of the gifts has been having each of you in the Life Designer Coach Academy and getting to know you and be part of that experience. Before even getting into that, like, what even got you into coaching? What made you say, I want to shift gears? And I know for some of you, it's more of a full-time thing. For some, it's more of a side thing. Just let's start with that question. Like, why coaching? Why life coaching?
I'm happy to start.
Yeah, jump on in, Kathy.
So I'm in my 60s. I'm going to fess up. I'm in my 60s, and I've had two successful careers. My most recent one is a producer. And I think when you're in your 60s, you start reflecting, like, what's next for me? What can I do that's more speaks to my soul? That kind of thing. I think it's just a natural progression. And I just really wanted to do something different and something that I really just want to be of service, truthfully. And, I reached out to you for a completely different reason to help a friend of mine do a podcast and give her some pointers. And you were like, oh, by the way, I have this, course that I'm teaching and a life designer coaching course. And I just was like, oh my God, that is just, it was so organic the way it happened. And I just was like, okay, sign me up. So that's kind of the progression of how it all happened for me.
It's amazing. And I want to just say, and I know both with Pretty and Chrissy too. First of all, Kathy, love that you're like, yeah, I'm unapologetically just sharing. I'm in my 60s. Like, hell yes, sister. And let me say something. Not only is it never too late, we are just getting started sometimes. Like,
Mm,
you stepped in, and I know this is something you're so passionate about. And I just want to share with people, Kathy and I met each other way over a decade ago, actually in
yeah,
a transformational coaching program that I know changed my life, and I know was transformational for you. And I
yeah,
remember telling you, "Hey, Kathy, I'm going back to school to do this thing," and you were like, "Rock on! Like, go for it."
yeah.
You even looked at my horrible website at the time. And had some thoughts. But I love that you are just jumping in your 60s and like what is it about this work that feels important to you now?
Honestly, it affects every aspect of my life. So the just communicating with people in a more effective way, the deep intentional listening, the the guiding versus giving people solutions, the community around this. I mean, I've met some amazing coaches, including Pretty and Chrissy, that are just like we bond, and there's people in the life designer course that I am friends with now and that are part of my support network. So for me, it's very much, I use it even as a producer. The communication aspect of it and the deep listening is critical really for any relationship you have. It doesn't matter if it's work or if it's personal. It really is transformational that way. I think you can change your relationships with people by taking this course.
Mm, I love it. And love what you're saying about the community is just amazing and how it can be used in so many facets. And love that. Love that you're using it as a producer and also in helping others. And yeah, the fact that the framework that what you're learning is really it can be used all parts of life. You're really demonstrating that. So cool.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Pretty and then Chrissy, because I want to hear, I mean, each of you have different stories, and I think it's so inspirational. Pretty, I don't want to give it away, but I know you came the military and then dentistry, and like you have like a whole other life that you had. Like,
I
how did you
did.
pivot? Yeah.
I know. So for me, yes, I was a practicing general dentist and I served in the Navy for some years. And then my career as a dentist, what started out was maternity leave, ended up going into retirement, where I really devoted to motherhood to my two kids for a good 12 years. And during that time, I found that dentistry was draining my energy. So it was good. It was in my highest good not to go back to dentistry because my kids didn't sign up to have a mom that was only half there, right? And so I was blessed with that. And while being a full time mom, I call myself a domestic engineer at that time. There was still, I felt some lack in fulfillment within me, and I was searching for that. And coaching fell into me from the universe in a different modality. And that was more of health coaching type. And what I was really drawn to, where I became alive, was when it came to transformational coaching with the body as a whole, and mind and heart and soul and body from all the realms. And so when I got to experience that, and with my background being raised by immigrant parents here, born and raised here in the US for myself, um, the coaching is what really helped me navigate my inside world with the discovery, the mask, and really coming back home to my truest version.
Mm. I so appreciate there's something you said about just fulfillment and feeling a lack of energy. This is something I know all of us, we talk about a lot, just really getting how important our body, our emotional well-being, but also our energy is, and how it can be a barometer. And so, what I heard you say is like things were fine, but I didn't want fine anymore as a dentist. And then finding the motherhood path and realizing, it comes back to your health. What I think was so cool with you is I know you came when you started into the program, you'd already done training as a health coach before. And so I thought that was fascinating that you were adding on to that. And one thing I've seen with you, and I believe with this work, I really do believe this path of coaching, of life coaching, is a healing path. That
Mm.
it's transformational and healing, which kind of go together. And just cool. I know one of the things you've done, and we'll get more into it, is worked with other women that might come from similar backgrounds, immigrant families, or have come from um, similar areas, and are finding their way here, and how to take both cultures and straddle both comfortably. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So psyched that you made that choice. And Chrissy, welcome. So fun
Thank you.
to all three of you. Can you share a little bit? Because I know, coming from the corporate background, and I actually, it's funny, I'm realizing we connected through, I think it was through Clubhouse when it
Yes, it
was
was.
really booming during the pandemic. I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, it was through the Clubhouse, one of the rooms. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, let's see, I've been in the corporate world now for going on 30 years. And I realized that a lot of it was the pandemic that sort of brought some things to light for me. First of all, I was going through a divorce at the time, and lots of life change with my children, one who was going off to college, another one who's going into high school. And so lots of transition happening for me at that time. And throughout my life, I've sort of always known that I had this gift for connecting with others. And I continue to try to seek work where I was connecting with others and using that gift. But I thought about coaching off and on, and there's like so many different coaching programs out there. but nothing really resonated with me. And then I was in Clubhouse, so you're right. And I was in the Miracle Morning room, actually. We were talking about the Miracle Morning, and Julie came up on stage and spoke, and you spoke specifically about this program. And I knew immediately, hearing your voice, hearing you talk about the heart centered work, that's what I wanted. I wanted something that was authentic, where I could be real and where I could connect with other women and really help them. And in particular for myself, it was about identity. It was about, and it continues to be through different phases of my life. But at that time in particular, that's what I was struggling with. And this was it. It was coaching. And so that's what really got me connected to you, got me connected to the program. And once I got into that community, of course, I knew that I was exactly where I needed to be. So,
I think it's so cool. Number one, that you listen to your intuition, which we do a lot, talk a lot about that. And with you still being in the corporate world, what's so interesting is how you are using this work. And I heard something similar with what Kathy was saying, using and infusing this work in what you're doing, and also having coaching clients and working with others on the side as well. And this whole idea of identity, I remember connecting with you and Pretty, we've talked about this too, moving past a divorce, kids that are moving on to college, that empty nester, really those transitions, which is similar, I know, Kathy, even with what you focus on as well, but really getting into identity, like who do you choose to be now? It's one of the things I love that all of you are doing. And Chrissy, I know this has been so important to you, is to help other women that are like, okay, now what? Like, now what's the next chapter? How do I do that from, as you said in your words, from an authentic, heart-centered place? And not following a roadmap that we think we have to follow, which I don't know about the three of you, but I certainly felt for a long time I had to do certain things. I can tell you that did not work so well. Versus, like, what is my heart? What is my inner guidance? What do I really feel is my highest path? The idea of being your Youest You, which is what I heard you just say. So grateful you did listen to that. It's been really cool to watch you, all three of you, because I see either through your emails or what you're doing on social media, or we just connect, like what you're actually putting into the world now. Um, I would love to know, we're going to get into more like how you actually are working with clients, what that looks like. Maybe just for those that are like, I don't know, I'm already a coach. Why would I do this? Or I don't know if I could be a coach. Like, I've never done anything like this. I've never had a coach before, which, by the way, I feel like 50% of anyone that comes into the program has not been coached. What would you say to someone who is like, yeah, why would they want to sign up for the Life Designer Coach Academy? What do you feel were some of the highlights or reasons that made it really powerful for you? And I know, Pretty, maybe you start because you had another program you had already done.
Yeah, I could definitely speak to that. Just you learn basic principles from other places if you already come in as a coach, which I had done of, okay, this is how I'm supposed to show up as a coach. What I came in for was I wanted to really learn the flow of the session. And how am I going to be holding space? Yes, I can hold space, and I do own that gift now. It took me a while to see it within myself, but there's the dance of holding that space to unlock what wants to emerge from my client, from within my client. And how do we do that so beautifully? And that's what drew me to the Life Designer Academy, was being able to learn and practice those skills right there and then bring them to my clients. And it was such a game changer for my session, for all my coaching sessions, bringing that aspect in.
So cool. Yeah, there's a huge focus. I know some programs are more like formulaic. We have, of course, the framework, but it's less, I'm very into, we don't give advice. That's consulting. It's really, how do you unlock, and you said it, how do you help the client unlock their genius, their gifts, which, of course, in terms of making change, creating habits that are changing, it's the most empowering way to help somebody. So that's so cool. I love that I love that you are seeing that now. So cool. Yeah. Kathy or Chrissy, how about for you? What kind of drew you in, and what has been most helpful?
Well, I just quickly wanted to follow up on what you just said about we don't do consulting, because that was where I was stuck. So, doing the work in the corporate world of, I was always coaching and consulting with leaders, and I thought, oh, yeah, I know how to coach. No, that is very different when you are consulting. And what I learned in this program is it's so much about being curious, really being curious, connecting with the individual so that they can really understand their truth. And you have to be curious in order to do that and be able to be a really good listener. And that was something that, I had struggled with in the past, even with my own kids, where, they would want to share something with me and I would want to jump to giving them advice from that consultant place. And that's not at all what this work is. And that's what I love about your program is you talk a lot about that is really being curious, really becoming a good listener. And you're not there to sort of give them the answer. The answer is within them. And our role is to unlock that. And so that's where that whole curious piece comes in and being a good listener. The one other thing I want to add that I absolutely loved about the program was being able to coach with another person just in time, in the moment, and getting feedback. Because I am one of those people that will say, oh, yes, I'll go practice. But really, time goes by, I don't do it. And so, really getting us to do that. And it's such a safe space with everyone else there that I really got to feel really comfortable doing that with this group that I was in and getting that feedback. And so, afterwards, I felt so confident being able to do it with clients.
Oh, I just thank you for sharing. And I think one of the things I'm like tuning in as you're speaking, this whole curiosity and listening. It reminded me, I know some of you with kids, the helicopter parenting where we like, I really tried not to do that, where it's like I get in, swoop in and tell them what to do. And it's kind of similar in with coaching, at least my approach is the way I was trained. It's like the opposite of that. We want to help, just like we hopefully want to do with our kids or niece and nephews or people that we care about, helping them to develop the skills to hear the wisdom within, to make choices and to learn from them, to get that they are the expert. They have the answers within. So, and I know, you have children, Chrissy, and that's something I know that's been applicable. And yeah, it's that being able to listen. I don't know if the three of you agree. I feel like so many people are from starving from being listened to. Like there's very few that really listen without wanting to respond, without having an answer. And so when you have someone who is trained, like each of you, to listen at a very deep level and to hear what's being said and not being said, I think that there's a spiritual aspect to that. There's like a being seen and a feeling heard and a knowing that you matter. And so thank you for bringing that up. That's powerful. Hey, my friend. I just wanted to share with you, in case you are looking for ways to really do good in the world, to make more of an impact, to be of greater service, to put your head on the pillow at night and feel like you're doing something very meaningful. So if you're interested, if you've thought about becoming a spiritual life coach, or maybe you're already a coach, but you want to refine your skills or just really learn new tools that are going to help you to expand, you are invited to my upcoming open house. It is free. We're going to be hanging together. I'll also be doing some spot coaching, and we're going to go into why this whole field of coaching, why it's taking off, why it continues to grow and expand across industries, how it's a healing path, and why and how to make money doing it and being of service to others. So come join me. All the info will go to juliereisler.com/workshops. And I would love to have you. Would love to hear your story. What got you interested in coaching, or why do you want to get into this world of coaching or refine the skills you have? All I know is that if you are somebody who others come to like come too often and they share and they are vulnerable with you and you're a good listener and you have high empathy, definitely consider coaching if you have not yet done so, because you have the ingredients of what it takes, and I will help you to become masterful. Yeah, Kathy, is there anything you want to add? I know this was like on a whim for you. You didn't even know you were going to be doing this until.
No, it very much, as I said, happened kind of organically. I was just like, oh, you know, I think Chrissy and Pretty and yourself really said it so well. The curiosity aspect is so great because you just really enjoy it. If you're curious and you ask a lot of questions and you really listen, without your judgment or what's going on in your head or trying to come up with a solution, if you're literally truly listening to someone, it's so enjoyable for both of you, you know? And I just think that it's hard for most people. They're always waiting for someone to stop talking so they can say something. And this is just the opposite of that. So it's more about just listening and hearing, and also what you said, hearing for things that they don't say as well is just as important. And you can pick up on that. And like you said earlier, so much of it is intuition too. And so the more you do it, the more you kind of like, pick up on signs without them even voicing them.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that in, because the intuition piece, this is one area that is often I find missing from a lot of coaching programs. And that's, something for me that I have really found to be, it's our superpower. We all have it. And so learning how to trust it and then use it both in our own lives, but in sessions with clients, whether it's in groups or individuals. And speaking of intuition and following that inner guidance, I think what's amazing is how each of you are doing that in your lives with your clients. And Kathy, recently, I know you made a big change. Like you were talking about, these transitions and working, with other women who are also in this new space of like, what's next? Maybe you can share for a minute, because the intuition guidance that you've just used in your own life was pretty inspiring.
Well, I've actually, I work with people who are making big life decisions, so they want to retire or they want to get a new career or they just want something more fulfilling, a new job, you name it, relocating. I've relocated many times. Now on my third career. And all of a sudden I was in a position where, I have a 98-year-old father who is, he fractured his hip, and I have a huge family network here in Rochester. I just moved here back home after decades. And, but I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to be with my family and to kind of pitch in and to be with my dad. He's 98. I have no idea how much longer he's going to be with us. He's, and so it felt so right to make that decision. And once I made it, I did it in less than a month. I sold my condo, I packed everything up, I moved to Rochester, and it just kind of happened. And my coaching, I was coaching myself and to get me through the process, because believe me, it's a big deal to relocate. And I really just kind of, and also it's really helping me communicate with my family around how to take care of my dad. And fortunately, we're usually all on the same page, but I find that I really have to listen and not just jump in, because I'm a producer. I get stuff done. That's what a producer does. That's what you sign up for as a producer. I'm like, okay, let's do these 10 things, and I have to step back and really honor the rest of my family, and listen to what they have to say. And my dad, I really have to hear him. So it's helped me in that way too, very much so.
I so appreciate what you just said about, learning in a way how this work it really, it permeates and it transcends into everything, into all of our lives, into, so showing up right now with moving back home, being near your 98-year-old father and listening and making sure you're not just jumping in. The other piece you said I thought was so great is also this, like, we kind of learn how to coach ourselves, even though I highly recommend working with a coach because I always have one. I know each of you have worked with coaches. It makes a huge difference. And we get those skills to be able to shift our thinking, shift our perspective, and to coach ourselves, which honestly, to me, is one of the most important skills you can learn because everything comes from our perspective and our perception. So um, I think what's also inspiring is, as you said, it's your third act, your third career. Like
Yeah.
and that's the thing I want. If you're listening now and you're like, I don't know, I'm in this weird limbo time, like, just, I hope you're hearing from each of these amazing women that there is no timeline, there's no time limit. Like, you can pivot, you can start your third act, your fifth act, your set, whatever it is, at any time, after any circumstance. And I find that so inspiring, Kathy, especially, having had two really successful careers, to say, I really love this work and I'm going to go all in and be a stand for others to really get that they can live an intentional life and love what they're doing and follow their dreams. That's the whole purpose. Yeah.
And one more thing,
Yeah.
it's really liberating to discover this.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, really. It's just so liberating. I am so happy that you and I have known each other for so long, and that you were offering this course. It just came along at the exact right moment for me.
Well, I'm grateful as well. I always set the intention with the divine that this course reach those that are ready and eager to do the inner work. We do a lot of inner. It's not just you learning to become a coach. You're going to also look at yourself big time and what's working, what you want to change. I'm honored, and this is the joy, is like seeing you lit up, and all of you, and those that have been doing this, where you get to take this work into the world. Um, let's talk about taking this work into the world. And I always love that greater why. And I think you had mentioned this earlier, Pretty, about your energy, like noticing what lights you up. So Pretty, Chrissy, or whomever from both of you, would love to hear, who is it that you really are being called to serve right now? And what is it that lights you up about coaching and being, a life designer coach, and using these principles, these healing, mind, body, science, positive psychology principles, and why?
I'll go first on this one. So, wow, for me, and I get confirmation when I hear people around me like, wow, when you were talking about that, you just really radiated and lit up. And that's what draws me in even more. When I'm working with another person or a group of people, I am so drawn to bringing people together. And I'm so drawn to freeing them from what's holding them down, and being able to working on that skill of asking powerful questions with curiosity and deep listening, deep active listening. When they're able to kind of like recognize that part of them that is not all of them, and they're able to release that and have that shift in perspective, or a different lens to see it through, because they've been looking at it with their blind spots on, which is why we all need coaches, because I can't see around my blind spot. But that's how I really help, and specifically with someone like who's been raised by immigrant parents. Oftentimes we're in blended cultures, two cultures, could be three now, with lots of blended families too. And the different masks that get put upon us, especially from childhood. And so if I can help the adults, the parents, and how they show up, now we really get to create that freedom and space for the next generation where they don't have to carry those same burdens, and they don't have to wait until they're 40 or 50 to be doing this work, because they're just growing up in a different way. They're growing up to really recognize coming up with more curiosity and listening within themselves first. So I'm really drawn to helping my community see a different way and how that enhances their own well-being, their relationships, their performance at work. It spills all over.
So fun to listen to you because you get so lit up talking about this. I think you mentioned something so important, which is blind spots. And this is something we all have. Oftentimes we have those feedback loops, those negative stories and thoughts that go in like a washing machine circuitous cycle, that if you don't check it out, you're not working with someone who can see that or hear that, you're going to think that's you. You're going to think that's your Youest You, and it isn't. It's often associated with stories from the past, the egoic aspect that wants to protect us. And so I think that is so important what you mentioned about the blind spots, and then also helping, women to blend, to stand into a space of being grounded, coming from different cultures. And that's a real thing. So powerful. And it's been neat to watch you create community, and do that and really help women to own their voice, to have, I think I'm hearing everyone say, to have that freedom. We all have free will. We don't always know how to use it. That's where coaching, and I heard you say, can really be a powerful, it's like, helps you to get unshackled from your own self. Yeah.
Thank you. I often will chuckle now, and when I look back at dentistry, it's no wonder why it was draining me, because I was putting instruments and tools and stuff in their mouth, and I can't talk to them. I can't connect with them. So I chuckle. It's like, okay, this is why I was led to my strengths in a different way.
That's a great realization. We do a lot with metaphors, and that's like actually literal. There's no communication when someone has their like teeth being worked on. I just did that recently, and it was no fun. No communication. Chrissy, for you, what gives you energy? The women, the people that you serve, what does that look like for you?
Well, I will say that recently, because of the LDC community, I actually went through this whole rebranding thing, because we had this whole conversation about this work that we're doing. And it's really about everything that I do as a coach. It's not about telling them what to do or teaching them what to do. It's about what's inside. And it's also about how our mind is such a powerful thing. And so part of this rebranding was really about this whole topic of identity that we talked about earlier, which is, it's now sort of, the rebrand is going from Mrs. to me, rediscovering you after divorce. And the reason is because after divorce, there's so much overwhelm that my clients are going through about the change. They're no longer a wife. Now they're the single woman again. And in some cases, their kids are going off to school, or they're going through some other transition. And so, but we get caught up in what's happening around us. And then it starts to impact us. So instead of stopping and saying, wait a minute, what do I need? Because I am giving to the outside world and reacting to everything that's coming at me from the outside world. And that's, a lot of that is our mind telling us that you should do this, you should do that, you should be a better mom, you should be a better co-parent, or whatever it might be. Instead of what this work has taught me, which is that no, we need to center ourselves. We need to drop in. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror and be able to look at that person and say, I really do love who you are. Mm-hmm. And that is the work. And I think it's nothing I can teach them. It's more about how can they find their own sort of grounding in that heart-centered space. and really then start to figure out, okay, this is what I enjoy. This is what brings me joy. This is what, and really, and that a lot of that is through self care. A lot of that is through, learning meditation or yoga or walks in nature or whatever it does for you that grounds you. And so this is such the perfect time for me to bring up that whole rebranding, because it really was part of this community and conversations that we've been having about, really the work, which is really the inner work. And so I'm so thankful to this community for that, because this whole rebranding has just given me this newfound energy, because that's what it is. That's exactly the women that I want to help.
That's so, so cool. A couple things that came up as you were speaking. First of all, I love it. Each of you are in, we also have the inner circle for conscious coaches, which is after you're a coach and those that are coaches already, where we really look at kind of that deeper, do the inner work. And I think one of the things we talked about was identity. What I love that you just said is this focus on finding self-love and connection to yourself. And I want to say something because this comes up a lot, because I know just in talking to you, Chrissy, and a little bit about your story, you've done so much of this for yourself. I remember you used to have a really hard time looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, I respect you, I honor you. The other piece, though, is it's not like you have to be fully healed and perfect to do this work. And that's important. If you're listening, everybody's shaking their head yes to that. If you're watching, you'll see. So I just want to say the fallacy I think people think, and I know this from our conversations, is, well, I'll do this when I'm, I've healed, or I'm, where exactly where I want to be in life, or I've figured things out, or I don't have any more negative stories. And I'm kind of like, well, you will have no more negative stories when you are 6 feet under, when you're not breathing. Like, that's not going to happen. What will happen is you will get really good at spotting the the stories, the self-doubt, the imposter, all of that, and getting curious, which is like a magic wand, right? That curiosity. But you do not have to have it all together. I mean, I know this myself, right? It's not like life is all perfect and figured out. That's not the point. We grow along, spiritual and personal growth lines together. So I wanted to say that because what you were talking about, that finding self-joy, joy in yourself and self-love, it's a journey. You don't teach it. It comes organically. I know you've worked on that. And it's not something as the coach you need to have all figured out, because I get that question a lot. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So I know before we kind of come to a close, first of all, I'm just so grateful for each of you. To me, my heart is like just bursting in the best way. It's like one of the most incredible feelings, because I know the power of this work. I had a coach that literally changed my life. Kathy, you know the story. I think all three of you do. About 15 years ago, through a question that he asked me, that I literally saw my life in the world in a different way, that unlocked like everything, led to just starting my life in the way that I wanted to, leaving a job, starting a business, going back to school, doing this work. And I know each of you have had powerful experiences in coaching and being coached and coaching others. So I just want to thank and honor you. I love, love, love being in community with you. I love hearing how you are, and it's fantastic to share this with you, our dear listener, how this work can be used. As you know, we do this in class as well. I always love to ask if there are what we call heart flares, which is really honoring that there is an intelligence, a wisdom, a guidance in our heart. And that we could go on for hours about that. If anyone here listening, go check out the Heart Math Institute. There's a lot of free information on how we actually have intelligence in our heart. But I do like to honor the heart, any flares, anything that maybe you want to share briefly that I didn't ask you, or that is just kind of there for you in sharing about this work, or what it means to you, or why you're here and doing this work. Anything at all that you want to share. I'll give you each a shot and a chance, because we always love heart flares.
I'm happy to start. There's just so many incredible people out there, and they just don't even know it. And I think that what's so incredible about our work is that we just work with people to unpack that. to like make it visible for them. I mean, they do the work. They really do. And that's how it should be. But it's so wonderful when you can kind of work with someone and the barriers fall down and you unpack their blind spots and you unpack the stories that they tell themselves and you get to who they really are. And then they go, oh, like it's a revelation for them that they're like, oh, I can do this, or I'm pretty great, like just when you witness that, there's nothing better.
I have like tears in my eyes, Kathy, as you're speaking. I literally, and I can see it in yours. It is agreed. Beautiful. Beautiful. Chrissy or Pretty?
Yeah, I can add to that. In when the heart flare that's coming up right now is whispers of the heart. When I can come to a place and practice listening the whispers of my heart, I'm in a better place to serve others so that they can listen to their whispers within.
Gorgeous. Beautiful.
And I'll share, mine is really about it's important in order for me to serve my clients well, it's important for me to be well. And it's important for me to take care of myself. And that's what, has been great for me in this community and learning. I've learned a lot about how to drop into my own body, about how to really connect to my heart. And before I go into a session, the first thing I do is I do like a really short, brief meditation. And then I'm there and I'm able to really be there for the client and connect with them. And again, I think I started saying that it's all about connection and it's all about making an impact. And that's what this work is for me.
Amen to that, sister. For all of us, and this is one of the core aspects of this work is it's just really what you said. To serve and to serve well, we've got to be well and take care of ourselves. And part of that is, and part of what, I teach what we're doing is how to regulate the nervous system, how to come into coherence, heart-brain coherence, how to align and to trust and learn how to listen and trust our inner wisdom or inner guidance, as you said, Pretty, our heart whispers. And to, like you had said, Kathy, it's not, we help others to make visible their greatness. Part of the kind of aspect of just doing this work is you then get to see your own greatness. That's one of the gifts. To me, it's like I get the image of candles where we're each a candle. And so, lighting your candles, you're now lit, you light other people's candles. And this truly is how I believe. I really believe this work can heal the world. I do. It uplifts consciousness. It is a healing inside job. And, one client, one person at a time, we start unblocking those blind spots, seeing who you are, like you all have said, unpacking the greatness that's within you, and by default doing that for yourself. Whole different thing, and also healing for your body, your mind, your soul. I just think each of you, I think you're all incredible, and I want to share to our amazing community and to you, my beloved listener, that there is a certified life designer coach directory where you are all listed, where we have Kathy, Chrissy, Dr. Pretty is listed. We'll also, in the show notes, we'll have your information. So if anyone wants to connect with you further about the beautiful work that you're doing, we will have that available. And I'll just say, if you're listening and you're like, I might be interested, kind of like what Kathy said, it was organic. You're feeling called. Maybe you already are a coach. Maybe you want to add and refine the skills you have, or you're just thinking, I don't know, but people love to talk to me and seem to be wearing a sign that says, come share everything with me. Yeah. If you're that person, this is a good profession. You will learn how to have boundaries and how to do that, and frankly, to get paid to hold space and help people to see their greatest, their truest self, to be their Youest You. If you're interested to learn more, we're starting the next cohort soon in the fall. You can always find out more information at juliereisler.com/certification, or just reach out. And I just want to thank each of you so much for saying yes to your purpose, to your why, to your heart, and to making a bigger impact in the world. I believe this profession, this career of coaching is is blossoming. It continues to blossom across industries. We see that. I've coached the military, in the government, in companies, in schools, with individuals, with families, with working parents. Like it's continuing to blossom because it works. So each of you is really a champion. And I just thank thank you all for being here. And I think we'll thank our beautiful listeners for being with us, and honored to be to call you a coach and to be part of this family together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Pleasure to be here.
And to you, my listener, beloved soul, sister, brother, please take what resonates, leave the rest. And as always, we hope that you will take nuggets from this conversation to unpack your greatest self, to be your Youest You, and as always, cheering you on. My friend, I'm so grateful and honored to be here with you on your journey and being your Youest You. Thank you for watching this episode, for being part of this incredible community and this mission to really step into your light, to your highest purpose. I believe that as we all do that, we all can really be our best selves and uplift consciousness and in humanity. So thank you. I also wanted to say that if you are looking for greater support right now, maybe you're having a health concern, or you're looking to really step into that next version, best version of yourself, please come connect with me, whether it's for more resources or coaching or guidance. I would love to support you in any way that I can. Just go to juliereisler.com. You can book a powerful one-on-one breakthrough session there. You can connect with me. I would love to meet you. I'd love to hear how I can be on this journey with you. And before I forget, if you'd like a little more of this good vibe tribe and would like to digest these episodes with a high vibe community, just go to Facebook and look up the Youest You podcast community. You'll find us there. Love always. And thank you so much for taking the time and energy to truly stepping into your authenticity and being your Youest You.